And welcome back to the Chaotic Podcast. I am Z Diggity. I will be one of your amazing hosts today. I'm joined today by Ryan Damask
Hey,
and Mr. J. How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. I
Doing
gave
good?
you a nice little ASMR session before we started to calm you guys down a little bit, so I'm pretty calm myself now.
that was great, dude.
Yeah.
I feel
I did it for you
relaxed.
guys.
Yeah, thanks, man. How about you, Ryan?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a long, stressful day, but I'm energized to talk about everything we got to
Oh
go through.
yeah, I'm very excited about this topic. Actually, I've been wanting to talk about this one for a bit, but we'll get into the meat and potatoes later. We've had a quite a busy week. It's been awesome. Topic today this week's going to be pretty dope. But I'm more curious of. I didn't personally receive any news, guys, myself, or anything that I thought was noteworthy.
I have a lot.
Did you guys hear
I have
anything?
a lot actually.
Oh,
Well, not that much actually,
go
but
for it, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Belle Delphine is back, y'all, from hiatus. I cannot relay how exciting that is.
Oh my god! Really? That's the
Oh, that's
news?
one of the news. That was the important one. That was the important
It's
one.
good
Hey,
news.
I guess she needed
I
some money,
guess.
you know.
You know, like we won't
Why
spend a lot of
not?
time on it, but after watching that Cold Ones episode with her, well, it sounded like you were about to
We
move
can
into
talk about
another
it.
piece of news, but after we watched the episode of Cold Ones with her, and she was actually talking about like her strategy and stuff.
She's fucking
actually really
intelligent.
fucking smart,
She's a
man.
really
Like,
smart girl. So yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with Belle
Oh, me
Delphine
either.
whatsoever.
I'm glad.
I'm also, but I also am not like Belle Delphine. Like I don't watch her content, so.
I thought we weren't going into the topic of our podcast yet. Like,
Oh,
it was a
whoops!
dope-
Spoiler
Oh
alert.
damn!
Video
Shit,
games.
sorry.
No,
All right,
she's
let's roll
actually
it
in the
back.
waiting room, waiting to come in here.
You fucking wish.
I fucking wish. You goddamn right I do.
Like, how wild would it be if all of a sudden Ryan just gets a notification, just somehow through the ether, she got news that we were talking about her, then Belle Delphine waiting to join the studio.
Ryan's like,
I gotta go, guys.
so yeah, she's back. I guess she went on hiatus ever since like December, I think. But you know, she needs some money. She's not shy about hiding it. She needs some money, so she's back on the internet. Probably get a couple millions.
Yeah, I feel like content creators should take long breaks like that because you do get burnt out after a while, so good, better power to her.
Okay, moving on. The other news that I have. So this is going to be the video games news that I have. Sega's working on a new Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi games.
Hell yeah!
Like new or remasters?
Like new, like big budget. From what I read,
Yeah,
they look like it's going to be new games. Yeah, but unless they're remastered, unless they're big budget remasters. But
dude, Jet
that's
Set
still
Radio
on. That's
Future
cool.
was that. Those were some of the best. There's two, right? Jet Sets.
I think so.
I
never played them, so I can tell you.
Games. Oh, dude, they're amazing. I mean, like, Crazy Taxi's really good, but
fun.
Jet Set was just like, I don't know. It was very forward at the time. Like, it was very futuristic for its time period. And it was just really fun game.
I never got around to playing that franchise.
I have to download a ROM.
I did play a bunch of Crazy Taxi as a kid, though, and that was super fun. So,
Crazy Taxi was
yeah,
fun.
Crazy Taxi.
I'm surprised I haven't heard of this.
I mean, it started off like it. I think it's pretty recent. Well, no, it came out earlier this week. I read about it.
Who's the developer or publisher?
Sega.
Oh, does Sega own those?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's their IPs.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, that's their IPs. So the other thing that I have is that the devs that work on the Uncharted game, I don't know the name of the company, they are working on a new Star Wars game.
It's not Naughty Dog, is it?
No, I don't think it's Naughty Dog.
No, I don't know. It's not Naughty Dog.
That'd be cool though.
Naughty Dog did what? Last of Us. Yeah, I mean Naughty Dog is doing Spider-Man. So
they're doing the new Spider-Man,
right? No, they're Insomniac. They're Insomniac. Sorry, yeah. I confused them.
Oh. Uncharted is an action-adventure video game franchise published by Sony Interactive Entertainment and developed by Naughty Dog.
Oh, go look at that. So they're working on a new Star Wars game.
Well, that's freaking dope. Is it?
Yeah.
Probably no information's been released on it, like the context of the story.
No, that's pretty much all I've got on it. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I mean, Fallen Order is very similar in gameplay to Uncharted. I've played all the Uncharted. That's
Oh.
That's one of the best series.
One of your favorite games?
Hey, I
Favorite
didn't
game
say
of all
it.
time?
I didn't say it. I stopped.
You heard it live.
I did.
Ryan's favorite
I did.
game is the Uncharted series.
Among other things.
Just accept it, man. Just accept it.
Right.
Okay.
That's really cool though. Hey, the more Star Wars games, the better. I don't care who makes them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's not EA keeping doing them, because
Yeah.
I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was great and all, but it's EA.
Yeah, it's in the game, man.
So
I got a little bit of news on the game front as well.
Okay.
So I don't know how everyone here feels about WoW. I don't know how about listeners feel about WoW. We did get a new announcement this week for the next expansion, and it is going to be Dragonflight, which the Dragonflights have always been in WoW. They've been there since the beginning pretty much, and we've always seen them, but there's never been much like deep diving into them. So it's cool that we're gonna have a whole expansion about them. I don't personally know if I'm gonna go back and like full-time raid or anything like that. Z, I think you said the same thing earlier.
No,
probably
we've got a
right?
podcast to produce now, so it's the best thing to come out of Blacklist is I pulled you guys from Blacklist. We pulled each other from Blacklist to do the podcast.
The most I might do is level up enough to go see Alex Straz's titties, and then I'll cancel my subscription.
To be honest with you, I will probably go back because WoW actually, even more so now these days, holds a more special place in my heart because, like, I would have met any of you guys if I wasn't in that guild, and which again, thank you, Blacklist. You guys are amazing. So I will probably go back just to kind of, I don't know, like it just feels right.
just to fuck around if nothing else. Doesn't mean you got to be a full-time hardcore player or anything.
Yeah,
but...
I mean that's what I did with Shadowlands. I just kind of leveled through the story, got to 60, did a couple of things, and then like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I didn't do any of the post-game stuff.
We did every Wednesday. Work.
Yeah, I remember the stories. I remember
the
stories of y'all coming in after.
We come in after raid like, oh god, fucking hate raid.
I love, but in reality, now I fucking miss it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
I got, if we're still on, are we still on video game news? Because I got some other news.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Video game related. I don't have any more video games. Into the Spider-Verse got delayed.
I know.
Sadly.
Oh, it's okay. We can wait.
So we don't. Yeah. I mean, it's not like something mad that makes me mad. It just makes me sad.
Yeah.
That we don't get it.
I was really excited for it.
We don't get it sooner. Yeah. So that's it. And then of course, our the one we just finished watching, the Thor: Love and Thunder teaser trailer released.
Dude.
Marvel,
dude. Hemsworth looks so good in that trailer. His Ravager outfit looks amazing.
He looks.
That's what I told Jay. I was like, dude, that is my favorite outfit for Thor yet. Is the Ravager Thor? It looks great.
Yeah,
it just.
I don't understand how he looks so good. He looks so good.
I think it's because the last Thor we saw was Bro Thor, as they've coined it, like that's the last Thor. It was really good to see him working the chains and everything, and like I don't know, say what I'm all about positive body image and everything. I'm all about that, but damn Hemsworth,
I gotta say
that's a whole lot of man.
going to like cosplay conventions and comic conventions and stuff. It's always been cool to see different Thors and stuff. But my favorite Thor cosplays were the Fat Thor at the time, Bro Thor. That was really fun because it'd just be dudes walking around in just robes, the sunglasses.
I like the
such an easy cosplay.
One of my favorite things about that cosplay or that Thor version is Robert Downey Jr. refers to him as the Big Lebowski in it. Big Lebowski, who is played by Jeff Bridges. Who is Ironmonger. I like making the connections.
Tony Stark built this in a game
with a box of scraps.
With a box of scraps.
Oh man,
good throwback.
Anyway,
good line.
Yeah. We always talk about Marvel. Huh?
Anyways,
it looks good.
I have one last thing.
Go.
Yeah.
Is two-part. D&D. We had D&D Direct today, as of the day we recorded on a Thursday, and we just got a whole new thing for D&D launch, and it's basically D&D in space, which is really weird. It's the Spelljammer. It's basically in the astral realm, and so you're just like flying through space, and there's like space dragons and like uncontrollable comets and stuff. I don't know, man. I just think like they've been releasing D&D stuff like every month for like the past 2 years, and now they're just like, fuck it, put it in
Yeah,
space.
well, D&D is more mainstream than it's ever been right now, so it's for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of which, that was the other piece, is that Wizards of the Coast, or Hasbro, officially bought D&D Beyond, which is like your virtual character sheets and campaigns and stuff like that, which have been loosely affiliated, but now they're actually part of Dungeons and Dragons, which means that Dungeons and Dragons is fully embracing that a lot of people are playing online
Yeah,
now or playing digitally. And so I think we're going to see a lot more in the digital realm. It'd be cool if they started putting out their own digital minis and stuff like that.
or like an avatar
I
builder of
think
some
there's
kind. Yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't scoop up like Hero Forge next, like building your minis and stuff and getting them shipped to you.
yeah,
Like, I think there's a lot of stuff that we're about to see. Like they have money now. Like before, like they had money, but now they have money,
yeah.
money.
They got the big,
Yeah, that big
they
boy
got that
money.
COVID money, the money where everybody was playing over Zoom. Well, why don't we get into the
I'm glad they bought
why
him.
don't we get into the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about, guys? This is a subject that I personally have wanted to talk about on the podcast, and I felt like I was kind of beaten into your heads for a bit. But we're talking about another.
Yeah, he didn't let me pick a topic this week because he wanted to talk
Exactly.
about this.
I locked Jay in a basement and gave him fish heads. I'll add it to the list. But we're
Marvel.
talking about another urban legend today. But we're talking about one of my favorite urban legends, which a buddy of mine told me about in a bar, and then I drunkenly went down the rabbit hole that night, and I've been obsessed with this for years now. But we're talking about the Giant of Kandahar. To give a summary of it, basically 2002, bunch of military troops who were deployed into Afghanistan came across a 15-foot giant with six fingers on each hand and six toes on each feet, with rows of teeth, with red flowing hair. The entire interaction lasted about 30 seconds before they gunned it down. But the supposedly this giant speared one of their one of the soldiers, and then that's when they opened fire with him. That's of course the Cliff Notes version of what we're talking about. I have more in-depth notes with it, but yeah, you guys have looked into it a little bit. Did you have any initial thoughts when you first heard of it, or when you first like started delving into it?
I think Ryan dove into it a little bit deeper than I did, so he may have more to say.
uh, Yeah, no, it was very intriguing from the second that I pulled up like the first article, because uh, as we talked about with Polybius, like there's obviously like a large part of me that's like doubt, press X to doubt, right?
Easy.
But then part of me is like, that is something that the government would cover up, right? Like that little part in the back of your mind that's like the fucking government. Like, right?
Exactly.
um but no, I mean, I think any story can continue to be embellished over time. Usually we see it over like decades, and this is, or sorry, over centuries, and this is just over a couple of decades. But I don't know, there might be some truth to it.
I will say that out of the urban legends that I've heard, this is probably one that I actually kind of believe.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to believe in stuff like that. And it was like, this one could convince me. This one could actually really convince me that it's true.
What do you feel like were the convincing?
So that's, yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like were the convincing points for you, Jay?
Kind of what Ryan said, like, it's like, this would be something the government would hide, that would be shady as fuck. So
Yeah.
that, and the fact that what else was it? I don't know. It just seemed real because it didn't end like most urban legends do, and like, and we never saw it again or something, something dumb like that. This one's like, oh no, we gunned it down. Like, we gunned it down. He's dead. He ain't around no more, but he's somewhere. he got like put on ice or something somewhere in Area 51 or something.
And they never saw him again.
They never saw him again.
Yeah, and I kind of fall into the same thing with this. Like, it's such just first off, like we talked about the Polybius episode, this is just a fun story. It's just a well written story, if it is indeed fabricated, and
That
there's
could
a
be it.
lot of details. There's just a lot of details to it that are just like, okay, that checks out. But I'm gonna read a quick excerpt of the story. In August 2016, a YouTuber posted a lengthy interview with a military contractor identified only as Mr. K. In the interview, Mr. K claimed to have been present during the brutal slaughter of a killer he called the Kandahar Giant. Killing the giant, he said, took place during the height of the operation Enduring Freedom in 2002, when the military was engaged in fierce battles with the Taliban in their de facto capital in Kandahar province during the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan. But this was no human fighter. The Kandahar giant, Mr. K said, was 13 feet tall with fiery red hair, 6 fingers, 2 sets of teeth, even killed one of the Special Forces soldiers with a spear before the rest of the unit brought it down within 30 seconds of sustained gunfire. And after they raided it in, Army took away its corpse, and it was hidden ever since. Like,
Coincidence?
I think not.
So the whole thing, right, was that there was a squad that had went up into these mountains and just disappeared. Didn't call in. They just went radio silent, and so they sent a troop of Green Berets up right after them to find them. And they found all this scattered military equipment and like shreds of uniforms and stuff like that. And they got to that cave facing up on the mountain, and that's when this happened. And I don't know, man. Obviously, we've seen it dramatized in movies and TV shows over and over again, and we know of it happening in real life on stuff that's been unredacted. But there's no like logs of like this squad going missing, or this soldier named Dan who was speared through the chest and died, right? And that's what makes you skeptical. But like I was saying, we've heard of this stuff being covered up, and well, that squad never even existed, or oh, they died in a training exercise a year later, or whatever. Like they can do anything they want to fabricate a story in a whole different time if they want to. And so I don't know. I just it's a very detailed experience, and one that was told by multiple multiple different stories that kind of all lined up the same. And it's just really it's kind of hard to even so. One video that you linked, Z, was the Mr. Bowen video. The guy was a Navy SEAL, and he was talking about how when he first went to Afghanistan, kind of in the same area, and how his interpreter brought up the story before it was even like a big story. I think he said that was in like 2012 or something. And this Mr. K didn't even go forward till like 2016 and dropped this story, right? And even the interpreter was talking about this giant of Kandahar, that this event that happened. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm a little sus of a few things initially. The biggest thing I'm sus of that I've researched, none of the research I've done on the subject really address, is this supposed soldier named Dan who passed away, who was impaled. They don't bring up any like reach outs about his family. His family hasn't come forward. Like, there's no talk of his family, and that's the one thing that kind of is like, this seems fabricated. But what's more far-fetched, a bunch of dudes corroborating one story, say 8 years that we're gonna put this out in the open, or it happened. you know
But also, government could have sent those men in black to the family and gave them NDAs and gave them $1 million payouts. And hey, don't talk
The
about your
hush money.
son's death. Yeah, we'll keep you quiet. Or they sent some troops to the home, and hey, your son died in an explosion, and he's bits and pieces now,
yeah,
right? Like,
or Dan might not even be the name, you know
yep.
so could be a thing.
Damn, this whole story could be fake.
Yeah, like
Uh, I don't know, before I get too far into like things that stand out to me as red flags, I just want to delve like I mean, you're running this thing, but I think I want to delve more into just like the story itself and things like that.
Like the story of giants or the
Uh, this story in particular, like the fact that okay, no, let's hop into the doubt. Then this is because this is the big doubt for me. I'm
You're
sorry.
fine,
Well,
dude.
see,
I wanted
you mentioned red flags, dude. You're mentioning red flags. And I'm like, dude, I'm like a bull. I run to the red flags. You know that, right?
yeah. So the thing for me is, so this giant living in the mountains, right? And this is the only look in Afghanistan, right? As far as I could tell in my limited few hours of research, right? This is the only story about a giant in the mountains of Afghanistan. Am I wrong?
I was, yeah. No. I just, that's one thing that I did like when I was watching the videos. Like, how come he's like the only one of his kind? Like, if he's, there has to be more, right? Like, there's no way it's just one person, and then
It seems convenient that this is the one place in the world that humans have lived the longest. The longest. We don't have one story of this in modern time until Americans invaded and they saw it.
I mean, okay. I was about to say a little bit of a rebuttal until you just said the Americans showed up, and then we just turned it. We just fucked everything
Hey, oh look, we found something y'all don't even know was here.
because we're America.
Second red flag, right?
Okay.
This is 2002. This is Operation Enduring Freedom. This is a year after September 11th, right? We go gung ho into Afghanistan looking for weapons of mass destruction. We find a fucking giant. You don't think George Bush would have been like, "We found it."
We found it. We found a giant, everybody.
Mission accomplished.
that's Osama bin
Oh
Laden
my
right there.
god! Can you guys like imagine like George Bush like doing it, ladies and gentlemen? Just doing a press. We
We found
and
it.
nobody would believe him because everybody kind of made fun of him for being like a gaffer and just kind of an idiot and everything. It's like we found ourselves a giant.
Fool me once. Fool me. Can't get fooled again.
Yeah, that's a giant.
But seriously, like they were being embarrassed in front of the whole world for invading this country and looking for stuff that wasn't there. You don't think if they would have found something that relevant, they would have tried to use it to defend their actions? Shit. I feel like America would
Yeah,
have been
true.
like, they're over there trying to manipulate human DNA to make giants. We found
I mean,
example of it.
like yeah,
We found proof. Yeah.
but then you can factor in like this has to be like if there's any if I don't know jack shit about the government, but I'd imagine there's a system for anything that would come across of out of the norm. Maybe to, there has to be a system in place for that to kind of rebuttal that one. So
Yeah.
like that's why aliens and this giant and Polybius and what's
Oh,
yeah,
well,
go for it.
well, aliens, they've given up on keeping us secret. They were like, oh shit, man, COVID's really got people worried. Let's just tell them about
And then
aliens.
we were like,
And now they just keep telling us about aliens and UFOs, and we're like, yeah, we don't really. It's enough.
like we
Now it just
We're
seems like
past
you're
it. We're past
forcing
that.
us
Yeah.
on it.
We know they're real. Just tell.
Well,
Okay, Grandpa, go back to bed.
have you guys read any of the Bible at all in any sense?
Yeah.
Like or anything like I haven't read it incredibly too much, but I did look at like as research. I looked into like Nephilim and everything and all that. And
You made that word
Nephilim?
up.
I got it from Diablo 3.
No, what is this? Drax says like nibble the deer. You make that word up.
Marvel.
It's always
Um,
Marvel.
That
Anyways, it's always
one thing
Marvel.
that I kind of liked about it, where this giant was found, allegedly, and like it's in Afghanistan, one of the oldest place where man has walked, and it's biblical time.
Allegedly, where the Garden of Eden is. I mean, the Garden of Eden by geographers was in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
Like that is where creation started.
yeah. So like those biblical ties, I think, is what makes it more intriguing. Um, I was going through the comment section on some of the research of it, and naturally you read through the troll, but and then everybody's a fucking expert on the military, and apparently,
Right.
and like the
Hmm.
military doesn't do NDAs, and it's like I
Sure.
sure, and the like I just the concept of like they're like, hey, we found a fucking giant, and then it flies away, and then everything because this entire story was all just is word of mouth spread amongst other troops that were deployed.
Yeah.
So
It's a game of telephone.
yeah. So maybe it was just a really large ginger man.
In
Yeah,
Afghanistan, for
and
some
then if it
reason.
would, yeah, and if it was flown away, like you would see the helicopter carrying this big old uh, human thing,
I mean,
right?
unless they put it in a crate
Like that's not something you just
or something.
They just carry around 13-foot human crates.
see. I just imagine them. I just like the way I envision that they carried them is one of those. I don't know terms of helicopters. I don't know their names. The ones with the double propellers. I just imagine one of them just like carrying them King Kong style, like across, just
Yeah, with the,
just like picking them up.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, with the net and just like carrying them on there. That's how I imagine they picked them up. I don't know.
Um, one thing that they mentioned about the giant too, like how in a film that they depict it as the giant things as moving very lumbering and slow. Apparently, this thing was
Mhm.
fast,
Yeah.
like super fast. Like it came out of the cave, saw them, threw the spear at poor old Dan, and then
My man
they
Dan.
once
Poor Dan.
yeah before the other seals or green berets could even react to fire at this thing bolted to the spear where he threw it at poor old Dan and yanked it out and then rushed him, and then that's when they unloaded gunfire on this thing for 30 seconds. Apparently, like it was sustained gunfire for 30 seconds.
Yeah. And
So this guy was quick, but he couldn't take some bullets.
no, he could. That's the crazy thing. These guys are armed with M4s. They were shooting 50 cal rounds. They were shooting everything they had and nonstop for 30 seconds. 30 seconds in the grand scheme of things doesn't sound like a lot.
It was a
Think
long
about
time. It
holding
is a
down a
long time.
trigger, firing a gun. You and like 4 or 5 other people just
Yeah.
non fucking stop for 30 seconds. And this guy's like, and just still coming at you or standing up or whatever. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. The it's
I couldn't last 30 seconds.
I stubbed my toe and I'm just like, oh.
I'm something of a ginger giant myself. I couldn't stand a chance.
All right. Well, we got a good start with this topic. I want to discuss more about your guys' thoughts, what could make it real, etc. But I'm going to save that for the second half. In the meantime, I just want to thank our sponsors for this week, and thank you very much. And yeah, so enjoy this wonderful commercial by our sponsors.
Sensual relaxation bubbles. Want something to spice up your bath time? Fragrance, massages, loofahs. Then order your vial of Chaotic Pub bathwater made with real Chaotic Pub hosts so you know it's masculine.
I use Chaotic Pub bathwater, and now I'm handsome.
Chaotic Pub.
Well, my wife loves it. She can't keep her hands off me.
Chaotic Pub. I used it and I got scabies. Scabies. I don't know what my life was like before Chaotic Pub bathwater. Chaotic Pub bathwater. Seriously, scabies, like in the worst way. The doctor prescribed me an ointment and everything. Nasty rash.
It works. It really works.
Get yours now. Call 1-800 Bubble Bath. It gives you scabies.
Welcome back to the second half of the Chaotic Pubcast. I would like to thank our lovely sponsors for that wonderful commercial.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Generic greeting.
Generic thank you. So today we're talking about the giant of Kandahar still. We are going to dive a little bit into the Nephilim aspect of it, the biblical ties with it, the legend of the Nephilim, and the fact, and this is something I actually forgot to bring up as well, the fact that they have found giant bones all over the world of this. And Brian, you
specifically here in the U.S.
America.
The only thing that matters, boy.
Oh, no, boy. Yeah, so that's something I forgot to bring up, and holy fuck, yeah, there are giant bones everywhere. So let's talk about that first off.
Do you want to go into that first?
Or whatever you want. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no. So this whole thing about red-headed giants is like this is not specific to the giant of Kandahar. These stories have been popping up time after time after time in modern or recent history, right? And like I said, even in just America, there's been spottings in West Virginia, Nevada, all these places. One of the popular ones is the Lovelock. What is it called? Lovelock Cave. I don't know if you read about that one, Z.
Oh.
But basically, it's this whole. It is kind of a tale passed down through a Native American tribe called the Pauts. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, man. I'm not racist, I promise.
Right? Yeah. Sure you're not. Ryan.
Oh man.
But they had like an oral history that they passed down all the way up until modern times about this race of red-haired white giants that they called the Sidika, and their descriptions of these red-haired white giants very much match the giant that we heard about in the Giant of Kandahar. And so it seems odd that we have these tellings of these giants in totally different parts of the world across the oceans that are very similar. And it's not like this is modern day where it's internet and now, oh, I heard that, now my story's that. This has been going on for generations.
What if he was a migratory giant? He just wanted to see the world a little bit.
How did he get around?
Yeah, exactly.
With nobody seeing him.
Right? How did he do it?
Like he had to cross, or unless he swam across the ocean and nobody saw him.
What does a giant do when they want to disguise themselves? Because short people just stack up on each other's shoulders and put a trench coat on.
He's I don't know. He just gets a military helicopter to just carry him wherever he wants to go.
he causes this.
He gets intentionally captured.
He causes what he does is he causes an elaborate scene, fake kills a guy, and then they heli him wherever he needs to go, and then he starts a new life, and then it surfaces on the internet 14 years later.
This giant keeps killing people. He keeps spearing people. We think he's a cannibal, and he's like, I'm not a cannibal. I keep these spears around strictly to rack up my mileage points.
The Amex Gold Spear of Osiris.
Related to Sasquatch? Y'all think he's related to Sasquatch in any way?
No, I don't actually. Sasquatch is in a whole nother ballpark because I still maintain that I think Sasquatch is more of a animal than a humanoid, and I feel like this is definitely something humanoid in a way. So I don't think there's any relation between it. And for me, it's the biblical ties and the fact that there have been sightings of these supposed Nephilim, or the bones of these Nephilim exist, and that's a big.
Yes. Tell me about those bones. Like, I wonder if it's the same things I read.
So I don't have any of the research up for it. This is just something I remembered from previous research. But they would find these bones, and what would happen? Like one of the one I read, they would find a bunch of normal human bones, and they were stacked in a mass grave, and then they'd find they would find like a giant femur or giant leg bones, and they were humanoid, and then giant skulls, and they were 12 to 15 feet long, and they were amongst these other smaller bones. Like to me, it's like I'm getting signals of worship in some way from those stories, but and it's kind of all over the world, because not North America. I think they found some in South America. I think Asia, they found a bunch of them, and it's all over the place. So that's more backup for me to I hate to say it, because I'm like a huge fucking skeptic with this, but I am kind of leaning more on the side that
Mark Spector?
Mark Spector, what, Marvel? I'm actually leaning more to the side. I'm more leaning to the side of this fucking happened, you know?
Yeah, so the bones that you mentioned in South America, so those were kind of along the Peruvian Bolivian border, right next to one of my favorite lakes, Lake Titicaca. There was a tribe of the
I'm such a
Euros.
child.
I'm sorry, I can't help.
I'm such a child.
There's a tribe called the Euros tribe of Indians in South America, and they also described giants with, who'd have guessed, red hair and elongated skulls.
And did they address the double rows of teeth? Because the ones I read, they had 6 joints and 6 fingers on their hands. They all had the same. The research I read, they all had the same. And again, this is conspiracy theory research. I'm not taking this to heart, but this is fucking cool. Like a lot of those bone sites they all had the same physical features, like multiple rows of teeth and an extra finger and an extra toe.
Yeah. So, skulls of like our very past ancestors obviously look way different than our skulls today, right? And so there's been a lot of skepticism around, like, are these skulls of like some huge race that are still alive today, or are these just very distant relatives of ours that are humans from the past? And I see the skepticism with that for sure.
Yeah, I see it too. I mean, I have to, because I am a skeptic, but I don't know. This has put enough holes in a lot of logic for me to kind of. I'm not saying I fully believe it, because there's a whole bunch of holes still, but to be kind of start believing it more, and and I I'm just waiting for another once in 100-year pandemic to happen. So the government's like, oh shit, everyone's pissed off and sad. The giant Kandahar was real.
Yeah, we're like, all right, Grandpa,
thanks.
it's enough.
Yeah,
time to take your medicine. But the whole Nephilim aspect. So that's what really. So obviously, the guy coming forward or whatever, it was with oh shit, what's this guy's name? L.A. Marzulli. He runs like this multi-series show where he talks about the Nephilim still being alive today. And so he brought this guy on his show that was supposedly that soldier, and interviewed him, and that was his proof. Another point of proof, quotes for those listening audio, that Nephilim were still alive today, right? Mm-hmm. And this guy, sure, that sounds great. But when you look at the other stuff that this guy has done in his research, once again, quotes, it's all very biased.
Yeah.
This man trying to make a career off selling the fact or opinion that these biblical things are still alive and well today, and trying to tie modern events back to biblical text. And it just seems a bit far-fetched. But that is his whole point, is that as you spoke about earlier, the Nephilim are still alive, and the Nephilim thing is pretty interesting when you dive into it.
I mean, we also live in the worst age of misinformation, as well.
Absolutely.
And I do take that all this information with a grain of salt, because, God, with all the bullshit floating around on the internet, I don't even know if I'm human anymore. And yeah, so. But like, if there's anything that's outrageous on the internet that I want to be real, it's a giant ginger shark man with freaking a lot of extra ligaments, spearing people. Like it would, like I said with Polybius, it would make the world a little bit cooler.
I mean, I want aliens to be real.
You want aliens to be real?
Yeah,
I,
I mean, I think they
they're-
are real, but you know,
Yeah,
that's a
I do
whole
I mean, the
too.
that's a
government
whole
told us
different-
they were. So.
yeah, they're real, 100%.
What was I gonna say? There was something.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions that have like surfaced at all, though, Jay? Like as we've rambled on about this.
I mean, I
fucking
feel like if I have questions, I'm gonna. I feel like if I don't, but if I did, I feel like I'd be in the same boat anyways. Like I'd
Gotcha.
still be like, I don't know. It's a mystery. So-
It's the mysteries of the unexplained.
which is why I'm not really. I'm just kind of listening. I'm not really asking anything. I'm just like, oh, well, I
Oh,
mean,
you're
that's
fi-
what they saw, I guess.
You're good, man. Another thing is it's like nobody trusts the government as it is, and apparently, like the government's denial of this entire thing has just fueled the fire of it. And for me, like the fact that multiple soldiers and multiple people have come out with the stories all corroborate with each other. And like I said at the beginning, I just don't believe. I believe more that this happened than a bunch of soldiers being like, "Hey, making this grandeur long plan." And then coming forward in 2016 with it. I can't even organize 5 of my friends to a birthday party. So it's like,
You think one of them
It's
like
kind of funny.
one of them like talked shit about the other one's wife, and he like stabbed him with the spear, and he was like, "All right, guys, we got to make up a really good story."
there's this giant. No, there's this
They're
shark.
they're like, "Calm down, Paul. That's too far."
That's too far. What if a monster with like 14 fingers?
Dan, hey, take Dan's death serious,
They're-
okay?
They're like, all right, James, remember what to say, right? It was just a regular guy who came out of the cave and stabbed him with his spear. He's like,
Totally
"Got it."
just-
And he got back to the cave, and he was like, 6 fingers, 13 foot tall.
He just
nervous,
just
shaking.
nervous.
All
He had shark
real.
teeth.
And the rest of the guys were like, "Fuck yeah, what he said."
What else can you tell us about the giant? He was really fast.
He had 2 rows of teeth for some reason.
What happened to the giant? Oh, the other helicopter came and got it before he got here.
They're like, so you're telling me this thing was super fast, stabbed your friend with a spear, and was coming at y'all as you shot it to death, and somehow you counted its fingers?
Had a
He's
really
just-
long beard too.
Really long beard. Yeah, what was he wearing? Animal hides. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh,
This was all just
Hey, we
an
should make our-
elaborate lie.
we should make our own urban legend.
oh my god. Yeah.
We should have one of the chaotic pub, the ghost of the chaotic pub.
Yeah, we already have one. It's called Jurgen.
Got it.
Right, Jurgen?
You're a little.
You're a little bitch.
There it is.
There you are, Jurgen. Nice to see you so long. Nice to see you.
It's been a while.
Hey, Jurgen, I didn't say a word to you. We're cool, right?
You sexy fuck.
Oh, great. Great. He never says nice things to me.
He never says nice to me
I
either.
miss Jurgen. All right. Well, so I would say final thoughts on this. And my conclusion, is it real or is it not real? If I were to say a yes or no answer, I'm going to say yes. This happened, in my opinion. I think it actually happened. I do think the government is capable of covering something up like this. And to me, like, there are a bunch of holes in the story. But I'm just going to will this into existence that this actually happened. Jay, after hearing it all, and especially since you have the freshest take on all of this, I would love to hear, like, yes or no. Do you think, like, if you had to say yes or no? I don't want any wishy-washy answers here.
Oh, if I like, yeah, only yes or no.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
sorry. Like,
That's a lot of
I'm doing it.
pressure.
I'm
That's a lot
doing
of
a bit of an
pressure.
MC dick move here, but
I want to believe it. I want to believe it's true. It sounds
I
like a
wanna
cool
believe.
story to,
Mhm.
but as me with most urban legends or stories, I'm gonna have to say no. I don't think it's real.
based off of the evidence or the lack thereof the evidence.
Yeah, like
Did you have a
that.
giant red flag though? Like, because mine was Dan's family.
My giant red flag about it. It's just that it's all word of mouth, and it's just coming from like it's, I don't know, like this is where I come into conflict, right? Because it's like the military could very well be hiding this, right? It could be very true that they're just like, no, we can't let people know that this is real. But at the same time, I'm more like, I gotta see it. Like, there's no way one of the soldiers got like a little picture of it or something, or something to show that, hey, this is real.
Yeah.
I feel like there could have been a lot to.
I mean, it was 2002, 2 years before the iPhone came out, so there we are.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, cell phones back then had like they had shitty cameras, but they had cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
So,
was
I don't
getting
know, I
their
feel like- I
internet
feel
from
like-
a little AOL disc.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I had
Cool.
people PC personally.
No, I was just like,
But,
like, I'm really curious. I was just curious about it because I don't know. Like, I love this story. Sorry.
No, it's a good. I mean, it wasn't. No, I liked it. I definitely like. Yeah, I would definitely like. Would love to hear about more of it. Some people that I don't know, other things that people have seen and whatnot or have told. But that's it. That's my.
Let's talk about it in Pubcast. Ask us in Pubcast, guys. Let's talk about this in Pubcast.
Yeah.
In Pubcast discussion.
If you're a Patreon.
Don't forget the Patreon.
If you're a Patreon.
Ryan,
my final thoughts would be, I don't know about this story in particular, the specific Kandahar giant. However, upon seeing all these other stories of these red-haired giants spread throughout the world, and we kind of seen a lot of like corroborating things from people who never had any contact with each other. We're talking native tribes. It's not like conquistadors who were like traveling the globe or shit, right? Like, it's just very odd to me that we keep seeing the same descriptions of the same race of giants all over the world, and that's what makes me lean towards there very well might be. And do I think our government would cover it up if there were? Fuck yeah, I absolutely do. As to this one in particular, based on what I just said, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
very much maybe.
Pretty much maybe.
But if you had to lean towards a yes or no, though,
I think I'll lean towards a yes.
All right, cool. All right, well, I think that'll. I think we did good today, guys. I think we did really good. I think we did some good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't sniffle not once.
Not once.
No sniffles.
I counted 4.
I did not have any sniffles.
Just kidding. I wasn't.
Can you tell that I was always the guy who like studied for my book report and wrote it all in like the last hour?
Yes, I can. You're actually.
Before it was.
I'm like very, very, very surprised. I'm very impressed.
I'm the guy that went in. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna fail. Right? There's no point."
Yeah,
I accepted my fate.
I was the guy that was like, "I'll make this work," and it always miraculously worked. But anyway,
I'm like, "Look, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try to stress myself out. I'm just gonna fail this test. I'm just."
Yeah, I'm just
No, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you brought up this subject. It was a lot of fun to read into.
Yeah, we'll look into more of these too.
To you guys talk about it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk to us outside of the podcast, you can reach us on our Twitter. It's Chaotic Pubcast, Instagram, Chaotic Pubcast. You can also email us, chaoticpubcast@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord, which is
not Chaotic Pubcast.
Not Chaotic Pubcast. It's you can do that. We
Chaotic
talk
Pub, right? I think it's just...
if you would like to join the Discord, if you enjoy the content you're hearing and you want to talk to us, you're absolutely more than welcome to join without being a patron. That said, being a patron goes a long way to helping us deliver this content to you.
Yeah.
Break even, like you said last episode. It helps us break even.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to make money. We just want to break even. All right, guys. Well, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, wherever you're at, and we will catch you next time. See you later, everybody.
Peace.
Love you.